Cowboy? I'm going to borrow Brian for a few minutes. Yeah, that's okay. If you'd come over here and watch this and make sure this stays quiet over here and no vehicles.
Are they doing something?
Yeah, they're just driving back and forth, and we need to stop with traffic over here, okay?
What are you
Just
guys
quiet it
gonna
down.
do?
They're taking a picture.
All right, all right.
So just over there, just make sure it stays quiet if you would, please.
All right. Do our best.
Okay, thanks, Brian. Hi, I'm Richard Hodges. I'm in charge of maintenance here at Bisbee Unified School District, second oldest school district in the state. I'm here at the high school. This high school was built in 1957 by the Phelps Dodge Copper Queen branch. It was built when copper controlled and ruled everything. It was built for 900 students. In 1969, when I started school here, 900 students were here. Unfortunately, we're down to around 300 now. I had family on both sides of the deportation, both from the mining company standpoint and from the miner standpoint. I had a cousin that was a miner. He lived up in Old Bisbee, and he was rounded up with the rest of the miners. They figured that it was one of these deals where the mining company was just trying to flex their muscles and intimidate them. When they brought in the rail cars, they realized how serious it was. When they were disconnecting the train, the deputized foremen were telling the miners, if we ever see you in Bisbee again, we will kill you. Cousin said he reached through the rail car and grabbed one of the deputies that he knows and held him, told him, no, Bisbee is my town. I am going to come back to Bisbee. I am going to kill your family in front of you, and then I'm going to kill you. And I believe he meant it. Testing. Okay, we will be loading you on rail cars. Enjoy the AC while you got it. Thank you for riding the Deportation Express.
This is a town with so much history. So I created this audiobook by interviewing 89 different people in the community and getting their stories. Bisbee in the beginning. The town of Bisbee was officially founded in 1880 during those years of war between the U.S. Army and the Chiricahua Apache. From 1877 to 1975, nearly 8 billion pounds of copper were dug out of an area 2 miles by 3 miles, and within this area are 2 enormous pits and some 2,000 miles of underground tunnels. More than 30 different nationalities were represented in Bisbee, and a hierarchy took root. Peter Young.
There was definite distinction going on here amongst the races, and the Anglos were definitely in control.
This was a white man's camp. The best jobs went to married white men.
It was so productive that people could hardly believe it would end. But after nearly 100 years of production, the mines in Bisbee closed. Somehow, Bisbee did survive. I can't help but think of it as the town too loved to die. Bob Watkins.
You didn't talk about the deportation. When Phelps-Dodge said we're going to keep this quiet, no one spoke. This town could keep a secret like nobody else.
Huh? Yeah, I think you guys are gonna be in the background. Yay! Isn't that kind of fun? I hope we will. Yeah.
This big old pile of dirt here is dump number 7. What this consists of is everything that was taken out of the big open pit, the Lavender and Sacramento pits, and also from underground in the mines. You have to store the dirt someplace, and this is one of many places that they've stored the dirt here in Bisbee. When the last mine shut down in 1975, it was catastrophic. A mining town without a mine is usually referred to as a ghost town.
It's a very interesting situation because now we have gone from the richest city in Arizona to literally the poorest. There are those that still believe the mines are going to come back and they're going to save the town. My name is David Smith. I'm the newly elected mayor. I actually still hear once in a while, we don't need to worry about finances. The mines will never let anything happen to us. And that's one of the biggest issues in governance, is trying to get people to understand that Sugar Daddy, who used to be Phelps Dodge, now Freeport, isn't there anymore. Freeport-McMoRan is the second largest mining company in the world, and it wouldn't matter to them on a corporate level if Bisbee had no population, because they've got fences around their property, and that copper that's still in the ground that someday they'll mine is going to remain there just like it's in a bank vault.
My name is Sue Ray. I was born and raised in Bisbee, Arizona. My grandfather came as a miner in 1915, and his brother came shortly after. My grandfather was deputized by Sheriff Wheeler, and he went and arrested his own brother and put him on the train and deported him into New Mexico.
My name is Stephen Ray. I'm born and raised in Bisbee, Arizona. I'm a recently retired Cochise County Sheriff's Deputy.
Uncle Archie is over here. And so I found that in the safety room up at the Junction Mine.
I think that's him right there.
I was really shocked when I first heard that Grandpa arrested Uncle Archie. They had to go with what their conscience told them.
Yeah.
And what they had been told helped them to decide which way they were going to go. Am I going to go to the right, or am I going to go to the left?
Well, I mean, I agree. I can understand and sympathize both sides.
I am very proud of my grandfather. He felt he was responsible, along with those that worked for the company, to make certain that we were protected from becoming taken over by the socialists, by communism, that he had to go and arrest his own brother and send his brother out into the unknown world, not realizing that they would never see each other again.
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Archie's,
Uncle Archie's right there.
there was some resemblance between the two.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There is. Hearing the story, and myself as being a retired deputy from the sheriff's office, it was tough. I mean, even thinking about having to go and arrest my own brother. To do that, I don't know how he did it. Just making sure she doesn't get to it.
My name is Mel Ray. My great-grandfather was deputized. My great-uncle was not. I see both sides. The people that were deputized, they were told they have this authority. I can see where they would act on that authority. Those that were being rounded up, I can see why they were protesting for higher wages. I can see why they wanted a safer working environment. So I truly am neutral on the subject because I see both sides, the good and the bad.
Welcome to the Copper Chronicle on KBRP Community Radio. I'm your host, Charles Bethay. All women and children keep off streets today. I'm going to start the whole thing again. When I first started producing the show, writing the show, I made a list of subjects, but I avoided this one until now. We decided that we needed to tell the story, and there's a reason for that. All women and children keep off streets today. The bold headline in the Bisbee Daily Review on the morning of July 12, 1917, was both an announcement and a warning. Bisbee is a town just 7 miles from Mexico that rests on stories of its lively past. But there is one that stands apart from the rest. It is a story of the day that Bisbee changed forever. At 6:30 a.m. on Thursday, July 12, 1917, miners on strike against the copper mining companies were roused out of bed by armed loyalists and taken to the post office plaza. The removers, Sheriff Wheeler's Loyal Americans, were citizens and residents who had volunteered or were invited to help put an end to the menace they believed the striking workers had become to the town and its productive, patriotic way of life.
Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're almost on the way in. I'm gonna ring the bell. Okay, hang on, you guys. We're going in.
The Bisbee deportation seemed to disappear from the town's history. The story was rarely told or mentioned. It was never referred to in schools, and people who remembered that day did not talk about it. It was understood that Phelps Dodge did not want the story told, and that the ghosts of the past should remain buried. In a company town, the company makes the rules. It was best to move on.
My name's Fernando Serrano. I'll be playing a miner in the Bisbee deportation.
Violence is necessary to tame the wilderness, to tame the savages, to tame the desert itself.
My name is Chris Dietz. I got here in 1980. We were bird watching in the Chiricahuas and got sprayed by a skunk, our dog. So we had to go to Douglas to get some tomato juice. And the rest is history. Been here ever since.
We come into Tombstone, the town too tough to die. The t-shirts now say the town too dumb to die.
Okay, folks, that was our ode to the Second Amendment. We are the Second Amendment city. So a round of applause for Tombstone, Arizona.
In the 1950s, there were 50 TV westerns. OK Corral, Wyatt Earp, Doc Holliday. These men had to carry a gun because it was part of the gunfighter nation. People dress up and become these characters. And I don't think it's a time warp. I don't think it's time travel. It's alternate history. It's alternate dream history.
2 o'clock showtime, right inside the OK Corral. See Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday face off against the Cowboy Gang. Coming up soon, right through these double red doors, inside the OK Corral. Gunfights at 2 o'clock. My name's Aaron Gain. I've been acting probably all my life. Started out when I was about 10 years old, been doing it ever since. Been in Tombstone, Arizona personally for about 10 years now, working at the OK Corral just as long. The character I'm portraying is A.S. Embry. I'm an IWW organizer, pretty much a rabble-rouser. And I don't know too much about the whole deportation, but I have a feeling, much like my job at the OK Corral, I'm not gonna make it. Something tells me that I, drew the short straw. The idea that Tombstone is the fake history and Bisbee is the real history has always been kind of a, it's always kind of been a mudslinging thing.
Well, the Copper Queen Hotel was first built by the Copper Queen Mining Company to house investors for the mine. Recently, in the last 30 years, it's gotten more notice for its ghosts. Yeah, usually right around in here in this corner is where they usually see the shadow of the smoking man. It's usually here for a couple seconds and then it's gone. There's a lot of energy in here. That's one thing I noticed when I started working here.
Harry Wheeler was sheriff of Cochise County, stationed in Tombstone, 35 miles away. The idea of going door to door at gunpoint and rounding people up, what if people don't round up? What if they start shooting back? How bad can it go, trying to put them into rail cars? It is said that Sheriff Wheeler was a small man, 5'2", about 140 pounds, kind of walked like a woman. Well, I'm 6'2", 200 pounds, and I've never been told that I walk like a woman. Anyway, I do appreciate this chance to play Sheriff Wheeler, and he did believe in what he was doing. He thought that he had a near riot on his hands, and he had to do something to stop it.
And we have the border patrols patrolling our everyday movement. I don't think that's it. I was born in Tucson, Arizona. I grew up in Naco, Sonora, a border town 7 miles away from Bisbee. I grew up there till I was about 5 years old. Then I came to Bisbee to go to school. Oh my God, there's Bean. Smokey's sugar mama. He's got a sugar mama. Hello, friend.
How you doing, buddy?
Good, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Good. So, I come here for some Jasper.
Okay.
When I was 15, I found a place in Old Bisbee. I found a job. And I've met so many beautiful people here in Bisbee. They were willing to water your garden if you water their garden.
Cheers, Lime.
Cheers. I mean, I think you just screamed that you're gay. You know, I had never even heard about the deportation till I met you guys. And I've been living here my whole life. But it was something that I wasn't really interested in. You know, like, I wouldn't consider myself politically active. It just seems like a lot of fucking fighting. A lot of fighting.
I'm Mike Anderson. I'm a historian for Warren Ballpark here in Bisbee. This ballpark was built in June 1909, and it's the oldest continuously operated baseball field, football field, multi-sport facility in the United States. And in July 1917, these grandstands served as the amphitheater for a genuine American tragedy. And if we'd been there on July 12, 1917, what we would have seen was family members, friends, people on both sides, armed guards all the way around the ballpark, a machine gun on the roof of what's now City Hall, the building in back of the grandstands. This is the focal point of the deportation right here. This is where they were all brought and forced to make that terrible decision as to whether or not they would return to work or be exiled from Bisbee forever. Please tell me what law they were enforcing, what Arizona revised statute were they operating under. Do you know what their answer was? The law of necessity. Can you please find that in the ARS Title 13 Criminal Code, the law of necessity?
I'm Lori McKenna, and I've been in Bisbee since 2002. This project is called The Undesirables. It was a term used by the government or anti-union or companies about immigrants that were undesirable or people that were anarchists or socialists. They were accused of being the IWW, which is one of the most radical unions to ever exist. You know, the people that remained after the deportation were the ones that drove people out. So the cover up, not a cover up, but the avoidance of this historic event was because there were relatives of people who felt 100% justified. Yeah, I think the centennial is making people talk about this in a way that it hasn't been talked about.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this meeting of the Bisbee Deportation Centennial Committee. It's good to have all of you here. I would like for us to go around and briefly do an update of what our various projects are and the things that we're doing.
I'm working on what happened to the deportees. I think we're going to be able to portray the deportees themselves in a much more accurate light.
So I wanted to do something on the actual day of July 12th. People are going to be doing theatrical vignettes.
This is a slice, and this man is holding a gun to his back and pushing him along. This is the first round I did on the banners, that using that logo so you can see how it looks.
When you go through that list of deputies, you see that there is one Slavic name. Everybody else is an Anglo-Saxon. So my conclusion after all of this research, the deportation was not a response to a labor action. It was that to a limited extent, but it was also in the nature of an ethnic cleansing. My conclusion is that Walter Douglas decided, sure, let's make this an American camp. Let's get all these aliens out of here.
I just started reading more about this, and this is what we're talking about, this who defines who's American, you know? And in doing so, it ain't you, and it ain't you, and we're gonna get you out of town. I mean, it's like, wow.
Our next meeting is 2 weeks from today, April 14th. We will be honoring Abraham Lincoln's assassination and the sinking of the Titanic. Get it out of here, Jeff. Life has got to move on.
What I'm doing is I'm looking for any loose material or rocks that have loosened up due to air slack. Hello, my name is Doug Graham. We're inside the Queen Mine. My family started working in the mines here in Bisbee in 1883, and great-grandfather, grandfather, and father have all worked underground. Dad, one hell of a miner, because when I was a kid, that's what he was. He was just a miner.
Hi, I'm Dick Graham. This is my mining world. I worked in the mines for some 58 years in total, starting at the very lowest position possible, just cleaning mud off the track. But when I retired, I was a company president.
This is a boss's desk. This was used by the shift bosses underground to do their paperwork and their reports. People are willing to talk about the deportation now. All my life it was, you just really didn't do it. Are you gonna feel that you did something wrong, or your father or grandfather did something? No, they were right. And those are it's very one-sided. I'm on the mining company side on that one. I really were. I think the IWW was just too radical, too much for people to accept at the time. My opinion, yeah. Exit phone, just checking it. Okay, bye.
It was not an anti-immigrant move. It was not a labor-busting move. It was, let's make our community safe for the women, for the children, for the mines. Let's support the war effort in Europe, our sons that we sent over there.
My father has told me a lot of stories that he has heard from miners that he worked with that lived it or somehow experienced the deportation. I have to remember, first off, my father is a pro-company man. I have to also remember those people telling the stories are in Bisbee. In other words, they weren't deported.
During the deportation, about 90% of the deportees were born outside the United States. They claimed 34 nationalities, but fully half of those deported were either Mexican or Eastern European, the men who had always been at the margins of the white man's camp. The spirit of what is it?
Solidarity.
Solidarity. Okay. Well, my mother was deported when I was 7. And she went to prison in Mexico for 11 years. So, I guess there's a connection, but what she was doing, the work she was doing was illegal. And it was drug-wise related, so it wasn't like they were just trying to make, well, I guess she was trying to make a living, but you have to process anger, you know? You can't just act upon it. I feel like if we just relive it again, it's gonna keep happening.
A lot of people appear here and they're on stage. You know, in the big cities where they're from, no one would even give them a second look. And here everybody looks at them, you know, they live in storybooks. This here was maybe 45 years ago, 57 years ago.
What are you doing in that picture?
Riding bulls. I have all this stuff out because I like to remind me who I am, where I came from. You know, and, I'm real.
Looking good, man.
Okay. Ah, buen día.
Hola.
Te estaba esperando. Rosendo Dora me lo de usted para servirle.
Fernando Serrano, mucho gusto. Te estaba buscando.
Sí, pues esto es lo que estamos haciendo. Estamos juntando gente para que representan los trabajadores del mundo, el IWW. No hay fronteras, no hay raza, religión, no dueños, todos somos igual. Y es muy importante que juntamos toda la gente joven porque la fortuna es ustedes. Y no hay otra unión que representa a los latinos, los mexicanos, mineros mexicanos. ¿De qué te penas?
La seguridad de mi familia.
Sí, pues eso es muy importante. Y es muy importante que los unimos todos. Y todos los protegemos uno al otro. Y se trata que los ayudamos uno al otro. ¿Cómo lo ves?
Pues
Piénsala, a ver.
Pienso,
¿Sí?
lo pensaré.
Bueno, llévate esta tableta y léelo.
Te buscaré.
Sí, te estamos esperando. Bueno, el gusto fue mío, señor. Vaya con Dios. Pero queremos saber que estás con nosotros o encuentras, depende cómo.
So do you want salad? Let's get a plate. No, you just want Grand Canyon? Let Grandma just help you a little bit.
Where's the Fritos?
At the store.
Oh, okay.
Since this was the 100th year, I wanted to be able to tell my family's side of the story. We were good people, we were honest people. So one of the things that we want to do is to have Mel and Steve play the parts of their grandfather and their uncle Archie, and their interpretation of what that morning was like. And I want to get a feel of what was actually going on in their minds and their hearts that morning.
I would love to do that. It'd be an honor to be able to do that.
Okay.
I'm rubbing this penny. 1917 penny. 1,196 times, one time for every man that was rounded up at gunpoint and deported. When I think about playing someone during the deportation, I can't be a wife, I can't be a whore. I'd have to be a guy. I mean, I'd want to be the photographer that took the pictures. Or one of the IWW guys that was deported, you know, because I always just work the lowest jobs to support myself as an artist. You know, definitely have that, both of those angles in my life.
The deportees are going to be coming out of here and march this way. That must have been a weird feeling, because I'm sure they were their friends and neighbors, some of these folks that were leading them away. Getting ready to build some cattle cars to represent the Bisbee deportation that was happening right here on this site, wow, 100 years ago right now.
My dad was a miner, my grandfather and my great-grandfather was deported in the Bisbee deportation. So my family's been around here for a long time, and I probably would have been a miner, but when I was a teenager, the mine shut down and I became an artist.
Make a little, use this as a template.
Just curious about him. All these people are fascinating. All the characters, all the actors in this play.
Trost was a proper German name.
A lot of these names will be the same names as on here. Now, Nick Trost, maybe Nick Trossel. We're not. What I'm working on right now as part of my participation in the committee is researching what happened to the men who were deported. The general impression that the media at that time gave, and remember the media was controlled by the mining companies in Arizona, was that these are wobbly agitators. So, I mean, that's the impression I had for a long time, too. This is one of the pamphlets that the industrial workers of the world were putting out about the time of the deportation. What they do is provide lots and lots of ammunition for the mining corporations. Big Bill Haywood, the general strike, shut down industrial production in America, stop the war. These men were branded as trying to deliberately sabotage the war effort. What ended up happening is a lot of them either volunteered for military service or were drafted.
Great job, thank you guys.
We're gonna make some differences here. We're gonna make some differences.
My good Wobblies, I've come to Bisbee to say that these mines belong to the people. We will win Bisbee and take down Capitol. We are peaceful. They call us anarchists, traitors, but we are the mines. We are the nippers and the mud diggers. And after all, an injury to one is an injury to all.
We'll strike for 8 hours at $6. And then we'll strike for 6 hours at $8. And when we get that, we'll strike and take over the mine.
The fervor of war and increased demands for products and productivity gave unions new strength and management greater determination to resist. In Bisbee, union activity had been tightly controlled in the past. But this was a time of increasing change in the world, and workers in the U.S. were more and more restless. The IWW became, or at least was perceived as being, the biggest threat to the large companies. Rumors spread that pro-Germans had infiltrated the unions. Some said weapons and dynamite were cached around town to be used for sabotage. I didn't do that.
Just go off on its own. See, don't touch the ball because it might be hot, but see, turn it, see if it...
Okay.
That's strange.
That's very strange. The ghost is here. It would be hard to believe that there weren't weapons and dynamite. It was, after all, a mining town, and many still considered Arizona to be the Wild West.
I have been informed this day that a strike is contemplated in Bisbee by the IWWs. I was asked as to what stand I would take. Here is my answer. I beg those interested to take notice that I will deputize every loyal American in Cochise County to help me preserve peace and order. If I believe that Harry Wheeler was the bad guy, I'm not sure I would be interested in playing this role. I like playing this role because it's a complex part. He was villainized and demonized. History has done that to him. But I do believe that during the time he was doing this, he truly believed in what he was doing.
Hi, I'm James West. I'm an actor in a film called The Dutchman, and this is my girlfriend's home. I've been here roughly about 2 years. Sit pretty close to the border. Got great views of the wall. I absolutely love it here. The character that I'm going to play, his name is John C. Greenway. He was the general manager of the Calumet and Arizona mine. Greenway was the only one of 3 mining companies present at the deportation and the planning meeting the day before. He was indicted for kidnapping and conspiracy for his role in the deportation, but the charges were dropped. Well, it's certainly a role to play. I mean, it said that he was tall, dashing, and handsome. I don't know if I could could live up to that. I started working in the private prison system, and I know over the past few years there's been lots of controversy with, private prisons, and, for quite a few years, having a background in law enforcement, we actually had the responsibility of boarding these people up on planes and flying them back to countries that were in Central America. And, we had both criminal flights and non-criminal flights. And you turn your back for a second and you'd be surprised, what can happen. And being on a plane, 28,000, 35,000 feet in the air, it's like a maximum security prison. And so you've got to be on your toes. It's not time to think, oh, I'm doing something great. I'm keeping everybody safe.
All right, you know how I talked to you about my project,
Yes.
The Undesirables, right? And I told you about Rosa McKay.
Rosa McKay, yeah.
She just came and went, and of course, Arizona didn't see her as a valuable historic fact.
Right,
And
she's a woman.
because she was a woman, and well, here's her. That's my drawing of her, but there's only 3 pictures of her that I could find. She was a legislator for Cochise, and then there was the deportation, and they ran her out of town. With this project, this film is also being made. They're going to do recreations of the whole thing, the whole deportation, and I thought you'd be a really great Rosa McKay.
Hey, Sue.
Hi. So we meet.
Finally. All right, well, what do you got going on here?
When he found out that his brother may come back for the trial and that he was going to be indicted and could go to prison for kidnapping and all these other charges, he ran. He went to Mexico. So Uncle Archie, we went to the city hall and we got a map, and we found that this is Uncle Archie's resting place.
Uncle Archie, huh?
And there's been 100 years,
Oh, yeah.
It's been 100 years since they saw each other. And not that they're going to see each other now, but I feel bitter.
My mother definitely brought me into this. I do not have the drive that she does on the deportation. To me, the deportation was another thing about Bisbee. I mean, Bisbee has had a mine. Bisbee had a brothel. Bisbee had a brewery. Bisbee had a deportation. It was just part of Bisbee.
Hola.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good, James.
Fernando.
Fernando.
Yeah.
So what character are you in the project?
I'll be playing a Mexican miner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm playing John Greenway. So I'm the boss man. I'm like the guy who says, hey, I don't want to deal with these people with you because you're striking. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just put these people on a train and deport them. It seemed like everyone that came here pretty much tried to assimilate to, the culture that we had established already, in the 17 and then in the 1800s and then the turn of the century.
Well, it's not like they came here, It's the white people that came here, so then they brought these customs to them.
It was really great meeting you, Fernando.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll see you on the set when we start filming, huh?
Yeah, I look forward to getting
Me too.
deported.
Oh.
Thank you.
I'll try and be gentle about it, okay?
Okay.
Take it easy.
I'm tough, I got it. It's really emotional, guys, but really empowering.
Workers of the world awaken. Break your chains, demand your rights. All the wealth you make is taken by exploiting
Aquí un poquito de agua.
Muchas gracias, mamá.
Toma mucha agua.
Muchas gracias.
Sí, hijo. Sabes que estoy muy orgullosa de ti. Y eres un buen hombre. Te quiero mucho. Pero estoy muy mortificada, hijo. Este es lugar bueno para nosotros. Y estoy mortificada que quieras ser parte de la huelga. Venimos de México. Ese no es lugar bueno para nosotros. Acabamos de regresar y hay una revolución. Tenemos que quedarnos aquí. Tienes buen trabajo.
Sí, mamá, pero no tenemos los mismos derechos.
Los derechos son importantes, pero nuestra familia es más importante, hijo. Que nos estemos juntos. Te pueden hacer daño, hijo. Tú sabes que perdí a un hijo, a tu hermano. Hijo, hazme caso, por favor. Hazme caso. No te quiero perder. No seas parte de la huelga, hijo, por favor. Dime, hijo.
I've never actually had this conversation with my mother. So it's sort of really intense. She was deported when I was 7 years old, and she was in prison till I was 18.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's a really weird relationship that we have. I feel like most of the time, I had to pretty much nurture myself.
I am Mary Ellen Suarez Dunlap. I am one of 4 children to my parents that came from Mexico, and they immigrated and became naturalized citizens. And we were born and raised in Naco, Arizona, a small town. It is a border town. And so I'm native to Bisbee. And I am presently the clerk of Superior Court. It is an elected position. And matter of fact, I'm the first Hispanic, not just Hispanic woman, but Hispanic to win an election countywide. And the first Republican to have the county seat as far as the clerk of Superior Court, because historically it's been Democrat.
Hi, babe.
Honey.
Look at you. It looks like you have the acting bug now.
Yeah,
Huh?
I'm an actress too. Growing up and watching the novelas, when you said that, that kind of struck that with my mom. And my family, as you know, it's a big family, and we are pretty much dramatizing it, kind of like a novela.
Today we're going to be filming when the miners decided to walk out. It's a little hard being here. Knowing, my dad had been here for, a number of years working here. He enjoyed it. I was just standing over here by the door to try to get into Uncle Archie's head. And I turned around and looked, and they've got the in and out board for the workers. I didn't realize it was here, and I turned around. Sorry, this is my dad. They've still got his name and his. I'm sorry. They've still got his name and his tag up there, showing that he's out. He's not inside the mine. I've only been in one time since Dad's passed. I want to go back in where he spent a lot of his time, where just a lot of enjoyment there.
It's a union for true liberty. It's a union for you and for me. It's the worker's own choice. It's for girls and for boys who want freedom from wage slavery.
On June 24, the IWW presented the mining companies a list of demands, including safety improvements, better working conditions, and an end to discrimination against labor organizations and unequal treatment of foreign or minority workers. The companies refused all demands. No surprise there, and a strike was called. By June 27th, almost half the workforce had walked.
If people want to come here to this country and enjoy life, liberty, and freedom, we've got to protect it. We've got to protect it from the enemy. You want to come here and you want to be a part of that? By all means, then. But you want to come here and stand in the way of that? Well, we're just not going to take that.
On the wall here in the courtroom, we have all of the retired judges, and we frequently have a lot of visitors here. And one of the games we play with them is to have them look at the wall and to point out to us which of the judges they feel is the one who is responsible for haunting this building. Most people get it right. It's the guy right at the top. It's Judge Ross, and he was the first judge to preside in this building in 1931 when it opened up. People come in and they smell cigar smoke, chairs to sort of go up or go down, doors close, and there have been people that have actually seen sort of an apparition of him in some of these rooms, actually sort of seen him like a ghost-like figure. I'm guessing the mining company had a lot to do with financing this building because it's built beautifully.
This was to his organization, apparently engaged in a mission.
What's your last 3 words on that? Policy of operations unchanged. Okay, thanks.
The idea was partly stimulated by my fiancée, who was having an argument with a fellow here in town who wanted to tell both sides of the story. And she got enraged and said that's like telling the other side of the story in the Holocaust. She can get a little over the top. But when I was thinking that through and we were kind of joining around, I thought, well, maybe a musical is the way to do it, and you do it not so seriously.
That's what labor used to do, right? Even like with Cesar Chavez, they used to do little theater things out in the fields and stuff. It's a part of this.
For some reason, IWW workers seem to write a lot of songs and sing a lot of songs. You don't find too many capitalists and mining companies writing and singing songs. I think I've got the major part done. Writing a song turns out to be a lot harder than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
We, the titans of industry, eschew, we do frivolity.
We had been talking about a reenactment for years, and some of the reaction was, well, that trivializes the event.
In order that our employees and the public of this district may know where this company stands in relation to certain labor agitation in this camp, we desire to make the following statement. We refuse to receive the committee or to consider their demands. This company will never negotiate with an organization founded on principles hostile to good government in times of peace and treasonable in times of war.
Bisbee is the highest paid camp in the world. The Calumet, an Arizona mining company, intends to continue its present policy of operations unchanged.
And the Shattuck, Arizona Copper Company hopes its employees will repudiate the conspiratorial actions of the IWW by continuing
at their usual occupations.
We, the titans of industry, eschew, we do frivolity. We have minds to run, leaves us no time for fun. That's why we don't sing songs. But if we were to sing a song, we would sing God, country, and most important of all, the Copper Queen Mine. Gentlemen.
God, country, and the Copper Queen Mine.
One more time.
God, country, and the Copper Queen Mine.
This is where Walter Douglas lived in 1917. You can just see the malevolence, the evil emanating from this building right here. Cold-blooded man. Walter Douglas was the mastermind. He was the originator of the deportation, but he always kept in the shadows.
I think a lot of times in the narrative, the blame is placed on the sheriff, Sheriff Wheeler, but there's no way the sheriff could have choreographed this whole thing. You know, he had the power to make this happen.
Yes, the deportation was awful. And
So was Walter Douglas.
yes, but that's one day or 1 month or one event.
Year.
And probably the darkest event in our history. But without the family, we wouldn't be here. And I love living in Bisbee, so.
I think everyone also has to own up in this world when they really screw up, when they do something bad. That has not quite happened yet. These arrogant Eastern elitists who have absolutely no connection at all to the people who are digging the stuff out of the earth. None. Turned this town into a corporate gulag. And if you think I'm exaggerating, you look at how people were treated and how due process and the rule of law was gutted.
They'd been in the trains already, like, I can't remember, 16 hours, something crazy.
Why are you so passionate about it? It's just like for humans, just for humans' basic rights, or?
It's not just that American kids aren't getting labor history or Bisbee kids don't know anything about the deportation, but that nobody knows any of our history at all. Okay, my friend, let's see what we can do.
Let's see what we can see.
Wow. So we know they were around here's where they dropped them off.
It's hell on earth.
Hell, totally, yeah. I mean, this is what it came to. You know, the Wild West, cowboys with their guns, hurting innocent people at gunpoint.
En las viñas de la ira luchan por su libertad. Todos los trabajadores quieren ya vivir en paz. Y por eso, compañeros, nos tenemos que juntar con solidaridad. Solidaridad para siempre. Solidaridad para siempre. Solidaridad para siempre. Que viva nuestra unión.
I guess it's just changing my outlook and the way I look at Bisbee. I feel like it's this energy in Bisbee. there's this really dark energy, and it's like it can bring the best out of you, but it's also can make you into somebody you've never wanted to be.
It was natural for me to want the mining company to have a very legitimate reason to do this and to be in the right, because I was very much raised a company kid.
I've been a company executive. I've carried the company line all my life. If something wasn't done, there was going to be blood on the streets. Truly, there was going to be blood on the streets. My grandfather told me that. Here is where they were being held, and I'm going to note that the white bands on the arms of the people represent the individuals who are doing the collecting. And there's a long dissertation in this publication on the law of necessity, totally based on the Bisbee deportation. And I'm sure, although there's never been any proof, that the mining companies were only too happy to shake their head yes when somebody suggested it. Were they behind it? Some will say yes. I don't know. And to me, it makes no difference because it was the right thing to do to save human lives. It was the right thing to do in a patriotic sense to support America's first big war. And it was the right thing to do to save Bisbee. Otherwise, it could have ceased to exist. So this concept of a deportation was developed. But how do you get 2,000 people to keep a secret?
It's not a coincidence that it's like I'm sitting here and it's like the universe is telling me, okay, you have to be aware of this and you need to be a part of this.
Join the strike! Come on, join the strike! Indiscrimination! Strike! 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 Join the 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 strike!
I'm Dick Graham. I'm playing the role of Walter Douglas. Tense, angry, thinking, how can they profane this great song? The melody is the Civil War song, the Battle Hymn of the Republic. And they're profaning it by making it a Union song. It's like taking Ave Maria and turning it into a brothel song. That's from a management perspective. And that's my personal belief too. But so it's easy to identify, very easy to identify. And that's why I felt in the 60s when there were the anti-Vietnam demonstrations. I was on the other side.
Tell me what you're thinking.
You hit a point where you have to make a decision between what is right and what is legal. They are not always the same. And you must always do what is right. That is a message that has carried through the centuries in protest movements, in progress movements, in religious movements, in anything, is doing what is right. Yes, I know. Have no doubt he was conflicted. Was he behind this? I don't know. Did he have a finger in it? Oh, I bet he had more than a finger. But in any event, nobody knows where Walter Douglas was. Was he sitting in his mansion at the end of the vista? Was he in his private railroad car on a siding somewhere? Or was he in New York? He was conspicuously absent. I cannot believe it was something that he nor any of the others involved took lightly, a responsibility. You cannot compromise with a rattlesnake. Those were the words of Walter Douglas.
Things got worse. The Citizens Protective League, an anti-union organization formed during a previous labor dispute, was reactivated by local businessmen and put under the control of Cochise County Sheriff Harry Wheeler. He was the go-to guy for management in Bisbee, a reminder of just how powerful the mining companies were.
Greenway School, built by the Calumet in Arizona Mining Company, by the Greenway family, and opened for first students in 1917, 100 years ago, same year as the Bisbee deportation. Beautiful floors. Elementary school now, closed for the summer. No students. Awfully nice floors. They have lasted well. I, Harry C. Wheeler, Sheriff of Cochise County, State of Arizona, deputize you, my lawful deputy, in all matters as if myself were present.
Your list.
I, Harry C. Wheeler, Sheriff of Cochise County, State of Arizona, deputize you, my lawful deputy, in all matters as if myself were present.
Your list.
I, Harry C. Wheeler, Sheriff of Cochise County, State of Arizona, deputize you, my lawful deputy, in all matters as if myself were present. I, Harry C. Wheeler, Sheriff of Cochise County, State of Arizona, deputize you, my lawful deputy, in all matters as if myself were present.
Wheeler, let's get these rattlesnakes.
I'll be playing Rosa McKay, and right now I'm busy making a hat, a cloche hat. I'm starting with this beautiful material, but it's got a lot of sequins and sparkly things, and Rosa does not strike me as the sequiny, sparkly type of woman. I am a Bisbee miner, Ben Johnson is my name. I came here from Nogales to work the company claim. I left my wife with 2 young boys and headed out one day. That was 5 long years ago. I came here on that train. I joined up with the union when I came to this town. I signed on with a company and made my way around. They gave me sticks of dynamite to bring the mountains down. And I work as hard as any man tearing up the ground. Then the Wobblies called a meeting and called a picket line. We had to show the company their policies weren't right. But the Great World War was raging then, and we had our own fight. And then the company came up with a plan and tried to break the strike. In the early hours of dawn, they snuck up on their prey. The vigilantes killed James Brew when he shot McCrae. 1182 were rounded up that day, and then they marched us into Warren and put us on a train.
I want to welcome all of you out this morning. We're going to place the headstone on Uncle Archie's grave.
United with the brothers.
We're going to lay the headstone for Grandpa Edward Leslie Cook.
Well, that was 20 years ago. I still recall that day. I found work in a factory. 10 years I stayed away. They say time heals everything, but some things stay the same. When I came back to Bisbee, I had to change my name. I am a Bisbee miner, John Benson is my name. I came here from Nogales to work the company claim. My boys are grown with families. Ruth died in 28. 25 long years ago, I came here on that train.
You've done.
The one in a little deep, yeah. Oh, okay. I'll take it easy.
This is every single man that was deported, and I did a penny rubbing for each one of them.
Man, I gotta be up here somewhere. It is very possible that I'm on the other wall. Oh, no, got him. There it is. That's me. That's crazy.
Members of St. John's Church have gathered to read the names of the deportees from Bisbee.
Harry Tomar, Simo Tomic, Tony Tomasic, Tony Tonon, Peter Toomey, Nick Trussell,
Felisto Mentiel, Calistro Montes, Francisco Montoya,
Thomas Radin, Raymond Patton, Roy Patton, Gus Paul,
Gonzalo Pisano, John Pisavio, Eli Pitcamo, Peter Pledge, Tony Pledge, Milo Rodanovich, Francisco Rodriguez, Francisco R. Rodriguez, Guadalupe Rodriguez, Jose Rodriguez, Juan Rodriguez. And all the men whose names do not appear on this list, you are not forgotten either.
Workers of the world awaken. Break your chains, demand your rights. All the wealth you make is taken by exploiting parasites. Shall you kneel in deep submission from your cradles to your graves? Is the height of your ambition to be good and willing slaves?
As July 11th turned into July 12th, the Bisbee deportation got underway. Everywhere, men whose names were listed were roused from beds, pulled from houses, and forced into streets. Many were not strikers or even miners. Expressing support for the strike or strikers was enough to be taken. From downtown Bisbee, the march began. After nearly 4 miles, the detainees arrived in Warren and were herded together in the ballpark. The day that would forever be remembered and debated had dawned. The Bisbee deportation was underway.
So, son, this gives you special rights. Lawful. We want to be sure that everything that we do is according to the law.
Right there goes the check.
Okay, ready?
Ready.
Let's do it.
What we're doing here today, July 12th, 2017, is about remembrance. It's an event where people had their lives torn apart.
I was reading about it. It's amazing. They cut off communications. They commandeered the telephone lines, the telegraph, in and out of town. Nobody knew about it for 24 hours.
Indiscrimination now!
Indiscrimination now!
Indiscrimination now!
Indiscrimination now!
Indiscrimination now!
Indiscrimination now!
Solidarity forever. The union makes us strong. Oh, solidarity forever.
Vagrants! You're all under arrest. All of you are under arrest.
What's happening? Hey. This is a peaceful strike. Get in a circle! You get in a circle!
I came to Bisbee
in the 1980 as a student from Lebanon. I was mesmerized. I fell in love with it. Then, yeah, I would have been scared. I would have been intimidated. I will never not serve someone because someone is telling me not to. This is, it's given. That's part of me. I will never, even if they put me on a train.
Come on,
Why? What did I do? No.
Come
Just
on.
doing my job. Leave me alone.
Coming in.
Come on out.
Come on here, Jack. Come with us. Come on, you. Come on. Coming with us, Milliner.
What's this all about? What's going on? What's going on?
What is it? What is it?
Archie, it's Les. Let's go. Arch,
What's going on? What's with the gun?
we gotta go.
Where are we going?
Get dressed. We gotta go.
I'm dressed. Where are we going?
We're going to the ballpark. Get your hat. Let's go.
I don't understand why we have to go.
Shouldn't have been with the Wobblies.
Just wanted to hear what they had to say. Can't believe my own brother is doing this to me.
Your brother's keeping you safe from the mob.
I am Rosa McKay, and I'm a state legislator, and I have a right to deliver this telegram.
Hell you do.
People were just asking her, Rosa, please help us. She was a state legislator. And so she came down to wire President Wilson, and they wouldn't let her. They just wouldn't let her do it.
Calm down. Calm down. Follow along, boys. Take it easy. Everything will be explained. Take it easy. I understand, ma'am.
About time we do something with these rattlesnakes. Finally, we're getting them out of town where they belong. Give them to the Army. See what the Army can do with them. Fine American suckers. Man, look at them. Ever see such a motley crew? Terrible. Shameful. When you replay something like this and you do it, it's very, very disturbing. With these weapons at the ready like this, hurting people like cattle, it's just wrong. It feels wrong. To me, right now, it feels wrong. Back up. Back in line. Back up. Back up. All of you have been arrested, disturbers of the peace. I don't get it. Don't you worry about it.
Hey, quiet in the ranks. See the road. Had no chance to get back to work.
On the car, on the car, on the car, on the car. Get up there. No.
Get your hands off it. Get your hands off it. Get your hands off it. What's wrong?
Where's this one? Our boys need those bullets. Get back to work. This is wrong what you're doing. Get your hands off it.
You're gone. This is wrong. This is wrong. You're a bunch of scabs. This is un-American. This is wrong what you're doing.
as a person. In today's world, really iffy. Yeah, it's really questioning whether it should be done or not. Back in the time, it was probably different feelings on it, but with today's values and today's ideals, it shouldn't be happening. In today's world, you know, this is not how you handle your issues. You don't load with armed, just vigilante style justice and throw them into boxcars and send them off. I gotta admit, my family is on the side that I'm on right now. But that's using then values and, you know, and the world's changed a lot since then.
I got supper. Come on, close the door.
If we ever see you in Disney again, we will kill you.
They got what they needed from the immigrants. They built what they needed to build, and they said, we don't need you anymore. Let's run them out of town. This is where I grew up, so I feel like I should be more involved. I'm a person that believes in destiny because I feel like our story has been written for us, but it's just up to us to participate or not.
The mining company's plan to crush the strike and unions had succeeded. Families were broken up, women and children left without means of support, friends and neighbors became enemies. The events that led to July 12th and the actions on that day left permanent and painful scars. Men died. Men disappeared. Life in Bisbee went on. But in our own time, and in this mining town on the border with Mexico, the word deportation is alive with meaning. It will not be forgotten.
I don't know if I want to touch your hand. I don't know if I want to touch it.
I'll get that for number.
Right. Thank you. And everything I said in a minute.
Oh,
yeah. And vice versa.
Good job, man. This is like the largest group therapy session.
Yeah.
Everybody will be nice and calm when they go home for dinner tonight.
Boy,
Maybe a little hoarse.
Tired, dude. Yeah, that's good.
You guys are pretty good.
You guys were too damn good.
Didn't even get at you.
first day of vanished wrongs. They have herded us like cattle, torn us from our homes and wives. Yes, we've heard their rifles rattle and have feared for our lives. We have seen the workers' thousands march like bandits down the street, corporation gunmen round them. Yes, we've heard their tramping feet. It was in the morning early of that fatal July 12th, and the year was 1917. This took place of which I tell. Servants of the damned bourgeois with white bands on their arms drove and dragged us out with curses, threats to kill on